This is Black Scott.
This is Love Jhade.
And we are He Said, She Said, a podcast where we unpack current and controversial topics concerning
men, women, and the roller coaster that is our relationships with one another.
Look out for new episodes dropping every Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific.
Tune in wherever you listen to podcasts. On this friendship, I should have waited to see who you were a little bit more before I became close friends with you, because now it's I regret it, because it's just negativity, negativity, immaturity. And so, just having that experience with that friend, I just learned, hey, you know what? You got to pick your friendships just like you go about dating. Don't give too much too soon. Don't get too involved too soon.
Right, or jump right in. I think picking the wrong partner is the same as picking the wrong friend. The consequences, outside of children and things like that, like personal cost, it's very similar. So you pick the wrong friend, you pick the wrong partner, it could cost you a lot, like you said. And jumping in too soon, whether it's going on trips or investing a significant amount of time or money or opening up your home to them or whatever, very risky. You don't know what kind of person you're letting into your life.
And for me, it's mentally taxing because I feel like I feel bad.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard for me to break relationships off. Right. To be honest, when it comes to friendships, I feel like I've just had a lot of tumultuous friendships growing up as a kid.
Right.
And just for no reason. I think I just ended up being friends with the wrong people. And so, I don't think it was a woe is me situation. I think it's just, you live and learn. But,
right, you live and learn.
But because of that experience, now I think I don't care about losing friends. I'm just whatever. But when it comes to my inner circle, my close friends, that is very hard for me to change. Similar to romantic relationships, it's just hard for me to break ties with people who I'm close to. It's I want to do everything I can to try to see if it can work before I break it off. And I feel like that's what you should do. Mm-hmm. But since we're talking about, negative friendships, when it's a negative one, that's taxing on you. You know what I mean? Just like a toxic relationship. So you feel bad, you want to try to make it work, but you just can't because it's not good for you. So that whole thought process, that whole having to go through that and figure out hey, should I give them another chance? Should I talk to them? Should I just cut it off? That whole thing in itself is taxing. And I agree with you. People don't think about the cost of friendships like they do relationships, but they cost you as well.
Yeah, and then too, people don't often think about the emotional ties you have to your friends. You think about the emotional tie. Let's say you think about breaking up with your partner. Mm-hmm. You think about that emotional tie being severed too. Like you mentioned earlier, I believe. You don't really consider the emotional attachment you've built to the friend, toxic or not. Mm-hmm. And that's the just man, I've built a toxic relationship with, not a toxic, I built a toxic relationship with this friend where, it was just not good, or we used to do toxic things together, and I've grown since, but they're still doing the old things they used to do that I'm not, doing no more. Mm-hmm. Why are we still friends?
Yeah.
And I need to break it off because now it's going to start costing me time, money, my life, freedom. It really, it costs you, there's an infinite cost to it, It costs you a lot of different things.
Man, yeah, I have definitely had a friendship that cost me a lot. And I feel like something that it's not necessarily other people's fault. It is on you at the end of the day. Right. But you have to acknowledge the influences. And what I'm talking about is the whole concept of birds of a feather, right? Birds of a feather flock together.
Right.
Who you put yourself around does influence you. Whether we like it or not, it does. And we want to all say that we're independent people, and that's true, but it influences you. And so I feel like, I had a period in life where I had a friend, and I just think the friendship just brought me down. I became more negative because this person was very negative, always complaining. And, I get friendships. Part of friendship is what? Someone to vent to. So, I don't mind that, but it's it's always something with you. It's always something negative. It's always you have something negative to say about someone else, about other people. And it's just what do you like about your life? Right. What do you like about that person? Yeah, I know what you don't like about them. What do you like about them?
I thought there's a clear difference between venting and complaining. Venting is just I have to get this off my chest. I'm done. There's people who do that, and it may be negative, I had such a terrible day today, this person at work, but then you're done. Yeah. People who complain a lot, talking about and have, been in a similar experience, it's always something, like I said, always negative about, and typically 90% of it is always about someone else. That's not them.
That's not you.
They're never going man, I got to get in shape or this and that.
Right.
It's always, he's not getting no money, or I look at him or her, or I'm why?
Yeah.
Like I said, what? Tell me what's good, what's positive.
Right. What do?
When I tell you what's good,
what was good about
really
your day today?
Tell me something good.
Yeah, and so just to wrap up that story, I felt like I noticed myself kind of becoming more negative and more like that, and I was like, oh my god, like this is not who I am, you know. Mm-hmm. And so that's one story, and then the other one, super quick, is like when I was in middle school, I had friends who, you know, I had friends who were at various levels of academic achievement, but my close friends, again, a lot of them were kind of just like didn't really care about school that much, and I was always like a nerd. I always loved school, so for me, it wasn't like I was trying to like get good grades and trying to be smart, but I just really loved school. Mm-hmm. So
education.
Right, but when I got to middle school, I don't know if this is the same for everybody, but here in LA schools, you when you're like kindergarten through 5th grade, you have one classroom, right? And you learn everything in that one class.
Oh, the one
and then
teacher,
when you switch,
right.
When you switch to middle school, you get periods. Yeah, like you get like, first period, second period, whatever. And that's when you have to start going to different classes. That transition was so hard for me. And to be honest, I've always struggled with like change and transition. It's something I've learned about myself now, so I know how to deal with it better. But that was the first time that I had to deal with it. And so my grades were just slipping. And I had like really, like I didn't have teachers that were supportive and that were like, hey, you know, what's going on? It was just like, oh, what happened? You didn't turn your homework, blah, blah, blah. Like it just wasn't a supportive environment. And so because of that, my grades started slipping and I just said, F it. And part of the reason why I said F it was because my friends who were around me were also slacking.
Right.
They were also not doing what they're supposed to do, right? And I was the only one who was actually trying and concerned. And so when I had the teachers on my back, when I had my parents on my back, but yet I was still trying, I was like, you know what, forget it. They seem happy, they seem cool, and they don't try, so I might as well just do that. And I got the worst grades I ever got in my life. I remember 7th grade. You know, I was kind of happy. I was kind of happy.
There's a philosophy there.
There's a philosophy there about, you know, pressure and kind of being graceful with yourself. But that's for another podcast.
Right.
But as far as this podcast is concerned, I got the worst grades in my life. I ended up getting an F. I never had an F in my life. And that was 7th grade math. I hated it. It was some pre-algebra or something like that. But anyway, I hated it. Horrible teacher anyway. But I got an F in the class.
Miss Calmer.
Yeah. She was, you had her too.
I did.
Yeah. But so, where was I going? Oh yeah. So basically just saying how friends can really like affect you. And eventually I kind of just started drifting off and doing my own thing. And I wasn't hanging out with my friends as much anymore. Like I would go do other things and be like, oh, where were you at lunch? Like, oh, I was doing whatever. Like I just wouldn't be around them anymore. Mm-hmm. And my mindset started to change when I got to 8th grade. I kind of found my mojo again. Right. And I had a really good, all my 8th grade teachers were really good. And I think that made a difference for me. And so that really made me want to be better because I felt like I finally had someone in my corner, someone to help me. And so it was a combination of good teachers and breaking away from those friends. And that really helped me. And that really made me realize like, hey, I can do this. You know what I mean? Like I can get back to who I always knew I was. I can get back to getting good grades. I can get back to being that person. But it took severing those friendships, you know? And when I went to high school, I didn't talk to those people ever again, you know? And I was glad that they were out of my life, to be honest. So that was just an example about how bad friends can really like mess you up.
I got an example of how good friends can uplift you.
Yeah. So let's go to the positive.
Yeah, I came in, exactly speaking now, let's have a little balance to everything.
Right.
I came in opposite you. So I came in getting C's and D's in middle school. We used to say middle school too. Mm-hmm. And had the same teacher, because you get the same like 6th grade teachers for the most part, and then it differs from there. But for me, I came in getting like C's and D's, 2.0 type. But what changed me is there's this girl I liked, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was like, you know, when you like someone, you start to study them and what do they do after school? What are their habits, activities? Mm-hmm. She was smart and had good grades. Mm-hmm. And for me, I was smart because I got into school. I was just not on my game. I was just kind of slacking off. So I was smart because you had to test into the school or something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever the case it was. So I was smart enough to test into the school and all that. Just, I don't know, I was on my game coming in. Worried about the wrong things. But in this case, worrying about the wrong thing turned out to be a good thing. Because the girl I liked again mentioned she was smart and getting like straight A's.
Yeah.
Didn't look like it though, but that didn't matter.
Mom asked me about her the other day, by the way. How's she doing? I was like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Ask your son.
Someone to trade with. No, I'm
Oh,
playing.
yikes, no.
The last time I checked, it wasn't looking too good. But that has nothing to do with this story. Anyway, so I started to study her habits. Oh, she does good grades. And, when you want to try to get closer to someone, you start, hanging out with their friend group and stuff like that. Because we actually turned out we did have like a couple friends in common. So at that point, I'm like, that's perfect. So, just ask the friends to kind of like, squeeze up in their friend group and try to brush shoulders and create that contact. So it so happened that also her friends were also smart. This was a smart school.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were smart, but her and her circle were, very, very smart. So at that point, I'm over here trying to get better grades to try to get a better favor from this chick. I don't know how that actually correlates. It really doesn't. But
me, to be honest,
because like me getting better grades will allow me in the circle. You just have to talk to her, right? Yeah. And I'm not stupid, so we can have a conversation. But in my mind, I was like, yeah, if I get the good grades, I'll be able to like be in her league or something like that.
Because I didn't want to stray too far off topic, but that's exactly what happened to me in 8th grade. So it was like I had good teachers. Like I said, I stopped hanging out with those trash friends, but there was a guy in the class that was really smart. And so I was like, yeah, like I have to get my shit together, basically to like
build myself
get on that level.
To feel exactly.
Right.
I could just talk to her as is, but I started doing extras for no reason.
No, I was like, no, I have to get on that level. And so that was what kind of got me back into school.
Right.
But then when I realized like, oh, I can actually do this. Like it's actually possible.
That's what happened. I started hanging around the friend group and everything, and we all studied library, this and that, shared the homeworks, all that. I'm like, yo, I forgot how capable I was.
Yeah, once I got there, like he was the catalyst, but once I got there, I was able to really believe in myself again. But yes, I guess sometimes friendships influence you.
All right, friendships. Sometimes guys,
crushes influence you.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, obviously girls too, but yeah, crushes will influence you and move you in a certain way. So try to stay around the right people. After that, that's what was crafting my mindset of try to stay around the right people.
So Will Smith said that his motivation. He's like, I'm paraphrasing and I don't want to misquote. I don't know exactly what his exact words were, but he was alluding to the fact that like his motivation has always come from women. So there's always like a woman being the reason why he, was motivated to do what he was doing in his life. And as we know, he's a great actor, great rapper, just, he's a great guy all around. And I thought that was interesting. So we ain't the only ones out here,
right? I feel like even on a deep biological level, since our biological imperative to reproduce, that as much as people don't like to admit it, that is a deep-seated, like, what's the word for it? Something that like moves someone. That's like a thing that makes people move.
Yeah, motivation. I guess.
Right, it's a motivation for people. So, since I'm not a woman, I can't really speak on that. But for guys, yes, women is a big motivation to do what? Get a job, get a car. Dress nice, put yourself together, make money. Women is a motivation in that. You also do it for yourself and other reasons.
Yeah.
Family, things like that. But I'm not going to deny that woman is a motivation behind improving yourself, and it helps. Yeah. Also, after people break up, that's when you start seeing people also improve too. Like men, they start going to the gym, maybe lose a couple pounds, this and that. So, as much as people don't like to admit. At least for men speaking, being one, the sexual, dynamic between men and women and having, being the good grace of a woman, that is the thing that will make people move or make men move.
I think for women, generally speaking, when you look at, not for women, for everybody, generally speaking, when you look at the media and just how things work, it seems like everything that men do is for the attention of women. And they wouldn't do it if women didn't like it. And same thing, women wouldn't do what they do if it wasn't for men, right? And let's look at the BBL thing. Everyone's getting that now. Mm-hmm. And I think that's because men, specifically black men, that's kind of where they're
like, more curves and more shape.
Yeah, like that's what I'm not going to say other races of men don't like that. But my point is just that's how it became popularized in the media.
Yeah, especially with pop culture being more of a thing now.
It came from black
First
culture.
First it was rock, now, it's more of...
Right, hip-hop, rap culture. Now because of that, all these women are getting BBLs, and it's because that's what men want. Like, you're not getting it from another woman. You know what I mean? You're getting, unless you are bisexual or you a woman who likes women, or a non-binary person who likes women even. But it's when you look at, society, the message that they push is hey, if you're a cisgender male, heterosexual male, you like big butts, and so if you're a cisgendered heterosexual female, you're gonna go and get that type of work done, or you're going to try to enhance your body, even if it's in the gym. You're trying to achieve that look, and that's the message that society is putting out there lately. And that's an example of what I mean by it's driven by that very thing on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that because it's like we wouldn't do what
you think
what we do if we weren't.
Because you're mentioning, I said you think it's more media perpetuated, I guess you can say. Because for me, I feel it's deep outside the media, because in grade school, before I'm watching wrestling. Not really. Maybe they are influencing, but the stuff I'm watching to me isn't strongly influencing me with women. But in school, amongst just regular humans, male and female, adolescents growing up, teenagers, high school, it's already dynamic that to me already exists strongly outside of the media pushing it. If anything, to me, I feel like the media is reflecting the actual society itself, not the other way around.
I think it works both ways, actually.
Yeah.
I think they do. I think we do influence the media, but the media also influences us. And I think at a young age, it's more about your peers, because I think your attention is not really focused on what they're doing on TV. You're focused on what are the people around me my age doing. Right. Like when you're that age, teenager, it's like your peers are your biggest influence. Then you get older, you do have more access to TV programming, media, exactly, social media. And then that's when you start seeing those images there. And I've even heard a YouTuber that I really watch and admire. She was talking about how, like, I used to really feel good about myself. And so I got on social media and I started noticing all funny. Like, oh, my nose is like this or this is like that. And she started noticing her imperfections.
She started feeling good about herself, or she?
Yeah, she started noticing her imperfections.
Oh, so I thought she said she started feeling good about herself.
No, she stopped in a way, because she started noticing those flaws. And I think that, I do think media influences us for sure.
Especially now more than ever too.
Yeah. And you wouldn't do what you do if it wasn't to attract certain like people, if we're honest. Right. And like you said, we all kind of like to act like it's not like that, but it is, you know what I mean? We as bonding mammals and whatnot, we crave that companionship, and so it's like you're gonna do whatever it is to draw that toward you.
That outcome.
Yeah, whether it be partnership or even friendship, like you're gonna try to like mold yourself to kind of
especially as being social creatures, you want to fit in, you want to be with the group. You want to develop said bonds and things of that nature with others.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, since we're talking about
the biological
how culture right culture. So we talked about how culture influences we talked about how people influence like social media, right, in the culture. What do you think is kind of like that ideal male, like what do you think it is for men that's like what's the ideal like fantasy or thing that is sold to men, what I mean, that men strive for, or are told they should strive for?
Not quite the American dream, but the male dream, I guess you could say, or I guess at least for males in America.
Right. Hello, I was going to say the male dream in America. I
don't know about, all the other countries, but really, it's really simple. The first thing is women. The second thing I would say is probably like a luxurious lifestyle, but that just brings in more women anyway. So for men, it's about women, first of all, just getting women, beautiful women, a lot of them, right? And secondly, is getting to a place to where you have the nice car, the nice house, the nice clothes to attract more women. So it's kind of a cycle that feeds itself.
Yeah.
And there's like it's kind of like an egg and chicken situation. So it's like, well, the women can motivate you to go get money, and then the money brings in more women, or the lifestyle, luxurious lifestyle brings in more women. But that's really it for guys. Is having it's very simple, luxurious lifestyle, women. So having your own car, nice house, nice car, some nice jewelry, keeping yourself up with nice threads and things like that. Yeah. Bringing in women, more of them, better quality of them.
Yeah,
I don't know if women have the same. I don't know if it's that simple for women. I feel like things are very simple in the world of the male.
I think it's complicated for women because, well, first I'm going to speak on what you said. I think that, and then we'll go to the women. I think that's interesting because I feel like I don't know. I feel like
too simple.
Motivation. Yeah, it's very simplistic.
It is,
and it's almost like Dang. So really, this all comes down to just women for y'all. And I understand, like, we're humans, we have complexities, but I get your point as far as like there's this underlying thing, but that's just crazy.
Having
like,
friends is cool, and also reproducing. The women to reproduce. But really, that's about it. What do they say? Get women or get money, get women. What's the phrase?
I don't know.
Acquire more currency, disregard females. You know what I mean?
Is that a real phrase?
Yes, but it's PC of what the real phrase is. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I know what you're trying to say. Yeah, I was like sounding very red pill, but no, I get you. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's very, but it's like you say that.
Not, so.
Right? No, I get you. But people say that, but I don't think that's what they really want, like you said, because if you didn't have women, it's almost like, oh, let's disregard women. Like to your point, let's just focus on getting money. But what is money going to get you? The women, like you said. So it's like, what exactly do you want here?
Well, I guess fornicate women, get money and fornicate women is the thing.
Yeah, that's more
of the accurate phrase.
And that's just like so weird to me.
And that's most guys. Now again, you want to have good friendships, you want to grow smarter,
it just seems
faster, develop more skills, spirituality, all that's in there. But the base,
it seems so superficial.
The root of it is.
It seems superficial. So like you're like, it's too simple. I think no. What my problem is with it is that it's too superficial. Like, and so that said, let me talk about women. I think for women, it's the husband and family, and not every woman wants that. But if we're talking about the narrative that's pushed on women,
right,
what you should strive for, like what society tells you should strive for, what society tells you should want, this should be every woman's dream. It's to be a homemaker, and have a husband and have children, and but to get to that basic need aspect of it, I really think it's security for women. And in a way, having that marriage and children makes you feel secure because that's what society tells you should want, And so it seems kind of superficial for men. It just comes down to that biological need of sex and like, hey, just get women. Versus for women, it's literally like we want security.
Well, I guess on the grand scale of things,
it seems more
is the base of it because that brings in resources and security. That brings in women. Like I said, it's a cycle that feeds itself. So I guess those are two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it just seems superficial compared to security. Security just seems like, it's a basic need,
Yeah, but I think, okay, in my mind, I'm taking a step further. Security for what? Children. Not security just to be secure. Security so I can have a secure environment.
No, because even if you're a woman who doesn't want to have kids.
That's the way I think of it, or that's how I take it.
Uh-huh.
So how guys say, because we could say women resource or women security. Well, we could say men resources.
Mm-hmm.
But both those things mean different. In my mind, take it to a step further. Well, resources, you're able to support and bring women security. Well, if you're secure as a woman, you're able to raise a child and a family. And so that's the direction I'm taking it in, where it always comes back to men and women and children and reproduction. So security is so I can securely reproduce and grow a family in a secure environment. Men, resources, and money so I can be able to provide that environment and security to attract the women and then therefore grow family.
Yeah.
And so we're all, both of the goals lead to children and family and growing a society.
Yeah, I think on a bio level, for sure, that's probably where it stems from. Like, when we think about evolution and all of our where we came from as human beings, I think, definitely, that's probably why it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to shade men. I feel like, well, it is superficial, but I guess that's how it's supposed to be because, like you said, it ties into the whole way of life that we previously had as early humans. But I think today, what's left, from our bio ancestors is just security in general. Because even women who don't want to have kids or have chosen not to have kids still want security. I think it's just something that, like I said, it's probably left over evolutionarily, probably left over, but it's still there. And I think that need for security is always there.
You say left over that bad?
No, it's just there's certain things that
negative connotation there. I'm like, is it?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just things that, like, literally things that are
just some older wiring,
leftover
principle.
Yeah, it's just leftover. It's not negative.
Right.
Like, there's some animals that have certain parts of their body that they don't need actually to live. And similar how we, like, one example, getting really nerdy here, but anyways, we have these webs in our hands. That's because when we were in the womb, we had this to like swim around kind of. But since we don't live in water, to swim around in the amniotic fluid. But since we don't live in water anymore, we don't once we come out, we don't need it, but it's still there. So that's an example. So I think
same thing with tail.
Yeah, we have the tail. We have the tail. That's why we have the end of our tailbone and stuff. Mm-hmm. But you don't need a tailbone because you don't have a tail. But we have it. It's small, but we have it. But yeah, so bringing that around to what we're talking about, though, I think people underestimate the effect that biology has on society. We do, and this is something an unpopular opinion, but this is something I just believe because I'm in the sciences. We really underestimate and we try to separate biology from society. We like to think we're these higher beings, and we are, but there's certain things that it's just biology and you can't do anything about that.
Right. You know what I mean? And I think we are on an individual level and things of that nature, but in the grand scheme of things, as creatures on Earth, we're all part of the cycle.
Yeah.
We're just the bears and the birds and all that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and so I think that when we blame I think it's just funny to say, for example, men will be like, oh, why are women like this? And women say the same thing. Why are men like this? They just want to chase pee or whatever, right? And then, man, why are women overthinking everything? Why are they just so
my pocket?
And it's security, right? It's security.
Right.
And so, we think of these things, on a, what is the word?
Trying to separate
on a philosophical level, right? But blame biology. That's biology.
You can't separate the things from who we are on a base level.
Right. It's not that we're after your money. It's just money equals security. And it's it brings a sense of security. And so I just think, and like you said on the men's side, why do men just want women? Well, it's kind of a procreation thing. And so though we are higher beings and we can move past that and we can make connections for reasons other than that. And I do believe in love and I do believe in these greater concepts. We still have to acknowledge that biology is there.
Right.
We can't ignore
we talked about, I think, way earlier in the podcast, still a factor.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we can move beyond it. Yes, I still believe in love. Yes, I believe in all that. I'm even spiritual and I believe in a higher being too. But that said,
you didn't say marriage.
Like you said, biology. But anyways, biology.
Next episode.
Biology is still a factor.
You know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Oh my God. Let's get into marriage on the next chapter. On the next episode though.
Oh yeah. Because I feel like things have changed since we last talked about
marriage. For me? Or you mean in general?
Just in general. I feel like we can refresh it. Refresh on the topic.
Yeah, let's refresh on the topic. I have a lot to say. Ooh, there's been a lot of divorces.
Right. And there's some things I actually heard from you that I don't remember you saying on the podcast, which is interesting.
So basically, you're saying, let the people know where you stand.
That's something that let me know where you stand as well.
So you're helping our parents pick out my future husband.
I'm helping in the selection process.
Yeah, arranged marriage, y'all. That's what I'm doing.
I can consult my notes.
Arranged marriage. We'll discuss that next.
How you're going to pick out someone's gift, right? And the parents don't know what to give, but you know your siblings, so you know what they would want and what they wouldn't want.
Yes, so you're like, no.
Okay, remember when you guys went to the Apple store, right?
Yeah.
You're already gonna have an idea of what I would want. And what I wouldn't want.
I was like, don't get that.
Yeah. Exactly. And so this is what I'm just trying to build my list and this information, so my repertoire. So when we get there, I can make a good selection on behalf of you.
Yeah, the dating game's ghetto, so time for me to go ahead and just
do it the right way.
Just have my parents pick my husband.
Especially doing all these things in your life anyway. You're busy.
I'm too busy.
So you're gonna have them do the work. You're not doing anything anyway. You're gonna retire.
Yeah, it's about that time. Settle down. Husband, kids, security.
I wonder how easy that is for the parents, though. When I think about it on a practical level.
I think about being a parent. I would love to choose my kid's mate. And I'm not choosing for you, hey, this is the person, but I would love to line up a selection for them of 3 to 5 people.
Influences, hey, this person.
Because I know what it really takes. I'm thinking futuristically, but I would, as a parent, know what it really takes to have a successful relationship. Yeah, and I want that for you.
I feel like the thing, too, that's why that's almost seems not realistic in LA in today's culture here in California, at least.
Yeah.
There's no community. There's no strong community. It's so individualistic.
Yeah, that's true. And too, I think, of course, it's given, right? It's a privilege to have a good relationship with your parents, and I would acknowledge that. Not everyone has that. And I'm grateful to have that. And since I do, I feel like, I wouldn't mind my parents, picking for me. Like, not picking the person, but they can give me a selection.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Most
A, B, and C selection.
Exactly. A, B, C selection, possibly a D on the side.
Right. Just in case.
Nah, I think one thing, too, that people don't realize, when you talk to people who get married, 9 times out of 10, it's through a community, through my church, friend group, family party. Everyone I've known who's had a serious boyfriend, girlfriend, marriage, anything of the sort, significant other, it's been through close community meetings, not random, online and things like that. So, but, we'll see if that changes or not.
Yeah. Yeah, tune in next week, y'all. Here to talk about marriage, y'all favorite topic.
Not mine. No. All right, y'all.
Not mine either.
All right, y'all. That's been our time. Again, I am Black Scott.
I'm Love Jhade.
And we are He Said.
She Said.
If you enjoyed the podcast, go ahead and subscribe, share.
And hey, follow us on Instagram. We are at He Said, She Said _PC. Again, that's at He Said, She Said _PC, where you can find episode updates, polls, and interact with our community. And hey, if you do participate in one of our polls, you might just become a part of our show.